Can't even lie to y'all, this PA is driving me crazy, but it's all good. We're about to break down the trades we took today. We took one in stream, I took one off stream. I'm gonna break that down, and I'm gonna break down the buys that we had pre-market analysis going into executions today. And yeah, so let's get into it. But you know, I'm about to start on a higher time frame, already on the 4 hour. Going into the weekly here, we were anticipating, you know, these draws, this, you know, it's equal lows right here on the weekly, followed by an untapped BISI. Into the daily, there's a small daily gap right here. Onto the 4 hour, another 4 hour gap. Checking out this buy range here. Target for the sell was really the equilibrium of this range. You see, we still really
got him. We fucking got him.
Still didn't hit it. Really, the draw should be the equilibrium, which is probably Monday's mid as well. Dropping down more. Let's see the 1 hour. All right, so we're waiting for some sort of reversal pattern after, you know, previous days, really 2 days, last week's Asia and London high. It's funny, hindsight right now, everything looks really good, but whatever. Going down to the 5 minute. This is kind of where we were this morning. London session wiped out Asia highs and reversed. So going into New York, we were waiting on a bearish manipulation, well, a bullish manipulation for a bearish entry or a bearish continuation. Dropping down to the 1 minute. So keeping bears in mind, we had news at 10 a.m. London session wiped out Asia highs. We have a manipulation move here that starts around 9:30. So 9:30, you know, we're inverting this, we're coming up, take out a high, and then we reverse. And then coming close to 10 a.m., you know, we end up getting a pretty A+ setup. My opinion, you know, we sweep a high. We have the sentiment of going bear based off of previous session manipulation. And at 10 a.m., we get this candle that post the sweep of a high inverts this gap. Generally speaking, we're not looking to fade or even trade news candles, especially news wicks. So this was an A+ setup as far as mechanics go. But as far as real-time use, because there was news at 10, it kind of loses its validity for, you know, an execution. So with that being said, we just all kind of sat. Some of us may have executed, but I definitely didn't execute based off of this. If this was not news and it was not 10, I'd be in there like swimwear. But that didn't happen, so we waited. And if I go to like a little bit of a higher time frame now, as we can see, there was no retest to the leg. We were all just pretty much waiting for a retest of the leg and to find entry off that. So nice little 5 minute gap here, retest. I'm gonna drop back down to the 1 minute. Now obviously, like, you know, we need a manipulation for us to find some sort of entry back down. So we chose to take this high. As this was grinding up, there was a high created, boom, reverse, and we sweep the high, and then we're waiting for the reverse down. So I actually missed this inverse here, even get a fair value gap. This is like my perfect setup. Stops would have been at the high, just measuring out. This would have been at like $400, and $400 risking, you would have made about consequent encroachment. Yeah, right to the low. 1200. This is a nice little 1 to 3. I missed this entry though, did not take this, not gonna cap like I did. So I was in around here, took this first fair value gap, and I was going for 40, and I had my stop at the top of this, which was 4 points. So I got in at consequent encroachment, and when it was dropping, I was up a couple hundred, and then I ended up choking my stop loss because it was just bantering around here. I should have had my stop above here. I didn't, and I got a bad fill. So I wanted to protect my profits. I was waiting for this kind of drop down here with these two candles, but I didn't get it during my time in. It just kept pulling back on me, and I wasn't willing to see any loss on the move. I was just kind of like emotionally exposed to it. So I was like, you know what? It's not dropping. I'm in profit. I'm going to choke my stop up a little bit, and so I just don't walk away upset that I lost. Usually I let my positions go to SL or TP. Just given where we were, how price was playing, I felt like, you know, a large part of the sell was already happening. We were already targeting the midpoint of the range. I'll point that out right now. Blue line here, the midpoint of this buy. So selling down here, right? Selling right here. We were so close to draw. And it was just like, you know, if it's not going to shoot there, then I didn't get in here. I got in here. So if it's not going to shoot there, I don't even want to play with it and be like, oh, at least I was right. Like, but then I'm $500 in drawdown. So yeah, going back to the 5 minute. Oh no, I should be on the 1 minute. Again. Anyway, so break even on this trade. Everybody in the stream went break even besides one person. Shout out Nick. Nick actually banked on this. So shout out Nick. And then, yes. So that was the one trade on stream. Yes. All right, guys, so the second trade, This trade I took off stream Dolly. This was just me, but just to give you guys the mindset that I took behind there. So on this sell down, on this retest back up, sold down, we took this low right here. On this fair value gap on the M5, I was anticipating like this wick right here. Once we kind of came back down, I was anticipating that is the continuation. Like, okay, we're gonna continue back down. I'm not looking to enter, but I'm just telling myself like we're finally gonna hit equilibrium point of the buy leg. That didn't happen. So we rejected up, and once we kind of inverse the gap again, I'm not looking to enter, but I'm just starting to formulate like, okay, maybe we're making a bigger reversal, a bigger retest than in, you know, what we just made. So we have the sweep of a low, inverse of a gap, what could possibly be a trade here. So obviously this ends up playing out. This is actually a pretty good trade. Sweep, invert. You know, you get in here, you can target the high. Not my setup, but I'm just pointing it out. And then we come back down. Now on this way back down, given that, you know, the trade's bearish, is heavily bearish, the trend, not the trade. Once we sweep this high, if you're bearish, you would be expecting obviously you know, a reversal back down, sweep, inverse, etc. This way back down, because we did not take this low, that was kind of my second confirmation, like, okay, we're probably going to come back up and push just a little bit higher. So then with that just in mind, I said once this gap gets inversed on the M5, we'll drop down to the 1 minute and look for a bullish entry, really just a scout to this high. And it gave us a little bit more, but really this high was just all I had in mind. If we drop down to the 1 minute, 5 minute gap would be represented by this gap here on the 1 minute. Mind you, the 1 minute came up and already inversed, but I'm waiting for the 5 minute candle to inverse. So if I'm going to go back to the 5 minute, this was the candle to inverse the 5 minute gap. So after this candle inverses, I'm dropping down to the 1 minute. So just so we're not confusing, I'm just jumping all over. I'll draw a line on the 5 minute candle and then go down to the 1 minute. Boom. So again, even though we already had the inverse technically on the 1 minute, I'm waiting for the 5 minute confirmation, which on the 1 minute looked like this. So on the 1 minute, this is the 5 minute confirmation candle, and as we can see, I'm gonna take this box out and move it over to this 1 minute fair value gap. Boom. This was the entry. I didn't enter here. I actually got in on this fair value gap because I wasn't paying attention. Later fill, not really what I was looking for, but I ended up holding past this high. So stop was at this candle here. I'll measure it out for you guys. Actually got in, wait for consumer encroachment. I got it right in. So I'm risking about $200 for 240 bucks, like a little 1-to-1, but I made it a 1-to-2, so I held it. So it was excuse me, yeah, 10. Oh, actually this is capping. I'm risking 200 for 400, but I wanted more, so I went to about 40 and I took out right about here. So yeah, that was a trade. It's a recap. But really today and yesterday, just some mental notes, some mental psychology the past 2 days of trading. Like I really feel like it's been a test. Past 2 days have been a test, like a trader's patience. It's like really, you know, when your setup's presented but certain criteria is not there, you don't FOMO in. Understand that that's a win. If you end the day, your P&L is not positive, but it's also not negative and you broke even, that's a win. Following your trading plan, staying disciplined is always a bigger win than potentially gambling in a move based off of FOMO, or just you have too much screen real estate for the day, you're emotionally compromised, and now, you know, you just want to see your P&L move, so you're just like, oh, lower leverage, lower risk, but, you know, I'm just gonna trade. I just think, you know, emotionally this is gonna happen. And the only thing that allows you to catch that is experience. But just want to point out again, like, you know, we had our setup here. Would have loved to be positioned in OTE of New York session, had the analysis right, that's a win. I had bias right, that's a win, right? All these things are a win, but at the end of the day, if I couldn't execute, that doesn't necessarily mean that I lost or that I'm doing something wrong. So now I have to find a reason, validate why my analysis was correct. Like at the end of the day, if you marked up something, you came up with a pre-market analysis, the market didn't give you what you needed to be comfortable enough to execute, meaning comfortable enough to execute doesn't mean I'm comfortable enough to put this leverage in and potentially win. It's actually the opposite. It's comfortable enough to put this leverage in and lose. So if I'm going to lose, then I'm all good. I still saw my setup. Everything presented itself. I'm happy with what I executed with today. So, you know, technically speaking, mechanically that happened here, but because of the news, it didn't happen. So now the win becomes, okay, it's not about, oh, are you gonna try to catch your move because you know you're right, you know it's gonna drop. It's more of, okay, now are you going to continue to follow your trading plan? Are you going to continue to be disciplined? Are you going to continue to remain patient and wait for the next setup because you know your strategy is profitable? It's proven. You do not have to catch this today. The sweep of London sweep of Asia highs into London manipulation, saying that New York is going to go bearish was enough for me. Finding the setup, finding the opportunity to get in, like a second bonus. And it's like not being able to get in, it's not being able to. I could have taken the risk, right? Emotionally, I would have felt like I was gambling. So not technically getting the criteria, the scenario, the news, whatever, the environment for me to take the execution, not a loss. Technically, we all said it was going to drop today. And as a trader, it's like having the bias, right, is like half the battle, you know? So just wanted to end with that, you know, always stay disciplined, always follow your plan. You know, psychology is 90% of this game. So if you're not making the right decisions up here, you're definitely not going to make the right decisions in front of you. That being said, see you guys tomorrow morning. See you tomorrow after for the trade recap. Let's get it. Let's get this money.